Hi again, Gregg Bell, the News Tribune here at Seahawks headquarters on day 5 of training camp. First, we'll get to the news that everyone seems to be infatuated with, the fight on Thursday between Frank Clark, third-year defensive end, the 10-sack man last year, and starting right tackle Germain Ifedi. Neither practiced today. Clark, part of it was punishment. Defensive coordinator Chris Richard confirmed. He came out about 5 or 10 minutes into the drills. He was wearing fancy sneakers that fans were calling him out and praising him for. Kind of a bemused smile on his face. He also had a left knee brace on. He didn't have that in the previous days of practicing here in camp this week. Richard said, though, it's part of the punishment for what he did to Ifedi, that there was no place in that in football, there's no place in that in practice, and that the team won't stand for it. So that's question one fans had is, are the Seahawks going to punish Clark? Well, they have, at least by taking away practice from him, but of course how much of a punishment is to miss practice on a 95-degree smoky day with some choking humidity and smoke from the forest fires in Canada? So I mean, most likely they find him as well. They certainly are warranted to in this case. Ifedi, no visible facial injuries or cuts, or certainly no jaw wired shut or anything like that. He was talking and joking with teammates and kind of laughing and watching it. But it's not without the realm that there was some kind of injury to his head or face because of the blow he took, a sucker punch that felled him and put him right on the ground. He never saw it coming from Clark, and we talked and wrote all about that yesterday. To me, though, the more telling and lasting development today from training camp is Tyler Lockett's return off the physically unable to perform list, on the field, catching kickoffs on the field right over here. He's a Pro Bowl kick returner. He had 6 touchdown catches as a rookie in 2015, then missed 2.5 months last year with injuries, and then on Christmas Eve, of course, broke his leg, an injury so frightening that Doug Baldwin and Russell Wilson were praying over him on the field when Lockett was down. Lockett talked today about how harrowing the whole injury experience was, how he was drugged up and out of it on Christmas Day, hours after the surgery. He only faintly remembers his family being there for Christmas. He only remembers that he might have gotten one gift and can't even remember what that gift was even today. And how he went through the hospital wards so antsy after the drugs wore off between Christmas and New Year's that he just wheeled himself in his wheelchair around the wards of the hospital, meeting other patients, and finding out that he, with a broken leg, missing NFL games, actually didn't have it as bad as a lot of people in our society. And he talked about how he met an older woman and an older man who had it much worse off medically than he does and did, and how that put a big picture on everything for him. That story is online right now at thenewstribune.com. To me, Lockett's return today and Earl Thomas's return to full participation in the back of the defense at free safety are the 2 most positive developments by far of this first Seahawks training camp, which has been up and down and rocky to say the least, counting Malik McDowell's uncertainty after his ATV accident last month. The top rookie draft pick remained away from visible. He wasn't visible to any of us. He wasn't on the practice field, and his status remains unknown, and even the severity of his injuries remain unknown. Another day, another set on the offensive line today. Luke Jokel was at left guard. George Fant was at left tackle, but because Ifedi was injured after the sucker punch and wasn't practicing, it was Ethan Postic's first full day as a first-teamer, the rookie second-round pick from LSU. Of course, he was a college center, but the Seahawks drafted him that high, because, adverb, L-Y, my kids watching would be like to hear that. Drafted him so highly because he can play all 3 positions, guard, center, and tackle. He played right tackle as a backup to Ifedi in the offseason and in the first few practice days of training camp. He's now the starting right center. He's also the second-team right center and the third-team right center because the team only has 11 total linemen, and they don't have anybody else backing him up at right tackle right now. We'll see how long Ifedi's going to be out. Nobody on the Seahawks gave us any official word or even unofficial word on the extent of his either injury or why his absence. And for that matter, we don't know whether Frank Clark's suspension or ban from practice will last beyond today. The Seahawks have a light, short practice tomorrow scheduled to be 45 minutes. Sunday they practice again. Monday they have a mock game where they go through warm-ups as if it's a game day and sort of play game situations, of course without tackling. Tuesday they take the day off, a regular season type work week because they have an exhibition game a week from Sunday at the Los Angeles Chargers. couple other news items before we get too long here. Darrell Bevell talked about how he was asked, rather, the offensive coordinator was asked, how do you get Jimmy Graham to be more productive in the red zone? I thought Bevell's answer was pretty good. He said, give him more opportunities. Of course, that talk in August might not mean anything if they don't give Graham the ball more in September, October, November, and December. We'll see if that happens. I'll be out here all summer, including all this weekend, for coverage on the News Tribune and at G Bell Seattle on Twitter. Thanks for watching.